Down on the farm, the Iron Horse of the working class takes a different stance as the clodhoppers of these steel steeds throw the loam one more time in 2023. Welcome to the Upper Merrimack region of the Show Me State on a beautiful afternoon in the fall. The trees haven't turned just yet. We are surrounded by beautiful, lush green countryside and farmland along the Merrimack River as we get ready today for stock division racing on the final round of the 2023 MRA Championship Series. We're going to open things up with the super stock class. No power adders here, basically stock trucks. A few of them are pushing the limits for sure, but some heavyweights in this class as we get into it. We're going to give you a look now at the points coming into today's action. Keep in mind, we'll also have the Pro Stock division coming up in just a little bit. Though right at the top, you see that three-way battle. We've got two trucks tied for first place right now. That being Gage Lombazio in all-in-one and Daniel Kerrer in the Troublemaker. And then Cody Snodgrass looking to sneak up there out of that third position. He may have something for the field here today. David French outside of the points hopes, but a very fast truck that could play spoiler here on the season as we load in the first two. There you see Gage Lombazio's all-in-one, and word we get is it'll be Sam Lombazio at the wheel this time around. His father, who also drives the all-in-two. That's actually the red bucket truck you see in the background there just over his left shoulder. Alongside Daniel Kerrer and the big block Ford Troublemaker, a 327 for Kerrer and a 314 with a 9 for Lombazio. So Lombazio picking up the quicker of those two runs. A nice straight pair, though, setting the stage for our next set of trucks. There is one of the big heavyweights in the class, Garrett Williams out of Shawneetown, Illinois, and the 1983 Chevy K10 called Hog Wild. 632 cubic inch ring racing engine in that one, and another ring racing powered machine, the 91 Blazer of Hunter Sissom out of Jackson, Missouri. Also a 632 cubic inch big block Chevy built by Ring Racing and John Conkle engines, and sponsored by R&R four-wheel drive. See what these two have for each other. Should be a pretty even match as they wait for the tree to fall to green. Well, we know the fight's in the track. Hunter Sissom. Not something we're used to seeing is the super stock standing on the bumper is 364 to a 334. Sissom banging the nose off the dirt. Wild ride, and it looks like he may have done some damage. There is fluid pouring out from under that truck. Watch it again. He hooked up big time. No wheelie bar on that one. Stood it right on the back of the frame, and look at the front clip. The doghouse falling apart as he slams the front end down into the normally soft Missouri dirt, but it's not so soft when you hit it that hard. Man, look at him bounce the front end up and down, and there is a trail of oil leaving the track down there, so he has broken something underneath of that truck. Hopefully he'll be back now as we get a look at a vehicle we've been hoping to see before the end of the year. That's Dawson Boyce in Wild Child, a 1988 Ford F-150 out of Illinois, going alongside Cody Snodgrass, third in points right now in the 91 S10 out of DeWitt, Iowa. Home-built chassis with a massive John Conkle power plant in the front. Big block Chevy power versus the big block Ford power of Boyce, a 600 cubic inch Ford engine with iron head, iron block, sponsored by Driven Racing Oil, 4XS Power, stainless headers, Interco tires, and battery cables USA. Illinois versus Iowa. Just running the clock right now. The heavyweight Ford getting left in the dust there. A 358 with a 5, a 307 for Again, just setting the stage. Remember, they'll go into elimination competition. If you haven't seen this class before, this is the only Eliminator class in the MRA series right now, as a pair of West Virginians wild and wonderful roll out here. You see John Dotson in the Dark Horse out of Ripley, West Virginia. Stock 69 Broncos. Used to be a truck called the Straw Boss. It got left sitting and forgotten for a while, and Dotson and crew resurrected it, and he goes side by side with another West Virginian, David French. 600 cubic inch big block Chevrolet VZ power plant in this one. Another VZ power plant in the Bronco. David French with the Jeep out of Red House, West Virginia. Saw French do quite well in this series before in his old Ford bump side that he had years ago. Now in this Jeep, been making tracks all year long. Not where he wants to be in the points, but been a record holder in the class. We'll see what he has here for Dotson in the stock Bronco, on the other side of the track. Well, we know the bike's in the track. Hunter System proved that earlier, but these guys just laid down a pair of times. Look at that. Dotson will go to the number one spot at a 3:05 with a 4, and a 3:06 for French will put him in second place. So Dotson may be playing the spoiler here this afternoon. But remember, this is not a low ET battle in this class. This is who gets to the finish line first. So you can actually run a quicker ET and still lose in this division, unlike the other divisions that we bring you here with the MRA series. You can get a whole shot victory in this class, as we will now show you the pairings from the impending first round bracket coming your way. When we come back a little bit later, we'll have David French taking on Hunter System, provided System can get the truck fixed. It'll be Cody Snodgrass taking on Garrett Williams. And Sam Lombazio up against Daniel Kerr, and John Dotson against Dawson. Boys, do not go anywhere. The Pro Stocks come out next to battle the clocks when we come back to Steelville, Missouri.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by RPM Army, the place to get your motorsports fix.
The world-famous C60 Cyclops, the infamous Dodge Carryall, unnamed and untamed. Get yourself a one-of-a-kind toy of a Mudbogger Trim Monster truck at freedomracingnt.com.
Quick till of the topsoil here at the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags just outside of Steelville, Missouri, as we prepare the track for the Pro Stock division. Unlike the class we just showed you, the Super Stocks, which is an Eliminator class, these guys will be running against the clock for low ET. Leading the points coming into finals weekend, Randy George out of Franklin, Georgia, driving the George Farms Jeep with a 5-point lead on Sam Lombazio and All In 2, and Greg Booker in the brand new for 2023 American Outlaw, Todd Hackney just outside, and Kenny Floyd still sitting in the number 5 position after only running one race this season. Todd Hackney with an outside hope at getting himself into the number 1 spot. He may have a shot at it, but it looks likely that it will either be the George Farms Jeep or one of the two. They're tied for second and third, that being Sam Lombazio and Greg Booker. There you see Randy George, the legendary George Farms family out of Franklin, Georgia, formerly owners of the Deer Creek Motorsports Park. The NMRO contended some great races there alongside Trevor Latham out of Parkview, Iowa, in the 2015 Chevy Colorado called Hammer Time. 632 cubic inch big block Chevy with a single carburetor, no nitrous, of course, in this class, alongside the 700 plus cubic inch Chevy big block built and tuned by the legendary John Kunkel. Really a different thump to these motors as they come down the end of the track. You see George getting rocked around a little bit there at a 271, a 293 for Latham. So George will take the top spot early. Watch the right side of your screen, the left lane, when Randy George goes to shut this thing down. You can see how thick the loam is, but very dry and shut down area. Good crowd on hand here this afternoon, enjoying the beautiful weather at the tail end of the outdoor season. Sam Lombazio rolling out now in all-in 2. Knoxville, Illinois. Little Ford Bucket T with a 4-link rear suspension. Tuned with the help of KCD out of Johnson City, Tennessee. Of course, the legendary Blaine Kilby out of that shop. Built many a chassis in the sport. Alongside the Fireball 69 Scout 700 cubic inch VZ. Big block Chevrolet power plant in the little International. Only International I know of racing in this division right now across the country. A beautiful piece of equipment. And again, if you ever get a chance to see these guys live, you gotta take the opportunity. Get out and watch the action. Always great competition. Some of the fastest machines in the motorsport per division. Two bright orange rocket sleds on the starting line, Lombazio and Hackney. Hackney getting bounced around here on this side of the track. 275. Lombazio runs a 283. So it looks like Randy George will hang on in there with the 271 with a 2. Lombazio with that 283. Moving a little bit to the left side of his lane, it looked like. And Hackney, again, getting bounced around in there with that 275. And it looks like the up and down motion of that truck hurt him a bit. Again, lots of bite in this track. Tuning these trucks to match that bite has been a chore all weekend long. Now you see the brand new American Outlaw, Greg Booker. Their Eric Bidlack built machine, and that's a name you're going to hear a lot throughout multiple classes in this sport. Eric builds out of his shop in Ohio some great equipment for the dirt draggers in all divisions of this sport, as I said, alongside Colby Roberts out of Palestine, Arkansas in the Shocker. Naturally aspirated 730 cubic inch John Conkle performance engine inside of a chassis built by Four States Performance out of Texarkana, Arkansas. This machine can do it all on the dirt, in the mud. It's very, very fast. An awesome piece of equipment, and rides that razor's edge between being just out of control and right where he needs to be to get a top spot. He could be a major spoiler. Showed up here at the end of the season, and I'm interested to see what he's got for the elite in the class. Booker does it, a 266 for the American Outlaw in his own backyard. Brand new machine, treating him well here this year. Another 275 in the class for Colby Roberts in Shocker. So our 6-car field complete now. Greg Booker right here at home, looking at maybe getting himself to the top of the fleet. Stay with us, more action coming your way when we come back to Steelville. Back with you on a beautiful afternoon here in the Upper Merrimack region of the Show Me State. You can see plenty of shutdown on this track, surrounded by lush countryside and farmland, and got plenty of distance before you run into anything. The only thing is, if you do overrun the track, you're going to get a mouthful of soybeans because there's about a mile-long bean patch before you reach the highway or the river. But we're going to get back to racing right now into the first round of Super Stock Eliminators, and it's going to be a bye run, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for David French, but unfortunately for Hunter Sissom. He damaged the oil pan with that big wheelie in qualifying. He will not be back. So French out of West Virginia going to get a free pass as long as he makes a legal run. Bike definitely still in the track. The short wheelbase Jeep runs a 307, staying on par with the 306 that he ran in qualifying. I think the wheelie hurt him a little bit, but he didn't have an opponent in the near lane. And remember, they're not running for low ET here, so you can, in fact, pick up a win on reaction time in this class. as one of the heavy Chevys rolls out hog wild. Garrett Williams out of Shawneetown, Illinois, the 83 K10 with the Firecracker Performance Power Glide transmission, the FTI gearbox. Sponsored by CNT Auto Repair, Ring Racing Engines. Special thanks to Terry, Cindy, and Jamie Williams, Bill and Jonathan Rigsby, Shane Ring, and Wes Duvall. He stages up alongside the 91 S10 out of DeWitt, Iowa. Cody Snodgrass trying to get out of third and into the number one spot. Snodgrass going to pick up the win there. It looked like Williams actually got him out of the hole, and Snodgrass had to run him down on the other end of the track. In fact, getting a look at the reaction times here in the booth, an 09 for Snodgrass on the hole shot, and that hole shot went to Garrett Williams in 06. For Williams, as Daniel Kerher out of Spalding, Nebraska rolls in the big block Ford-powered Troublemaker. He and his father fielding this machine family operation. They also have a rear engine rail in the modified class, and he just lost power. Truck shuts down on the way back through the clocks. You see Lombazio on the far side of the track. I don't know if, well, there he just looked over. You see him now taking a glance over at Kerher. The crew headed out to the starting line to find out what went wrong there. You see his father there in the bed of the truck. Looks like they're looking at some electrical components right now. Something not right in that truck. It didn't sound like an engine problem. It sounded like something went wrong. Maybe in the ignition. As you saw Jamie Suter heading out to put Kerher on the clock officially, and Lombazio waits patiently on the left side of the track. Very calm, cool, and collected at the wheel of All-in-One. Just waiting to see if Kerher is going to stage, and they have indeed. Waiting to see. Okay, Suter gives the signal. They're going to let Lombazio run solo. Well, Kerher fires up. Let's see. He's going to back out. Will he pull it back into the starting line or head back to the pits? Clears the engine out. Looks like he's going to go ahead and stage. So we are going to have a race. A pair of Ford-powered machines. One out of Illinois, one out of Nebraska. The little Ford-powered Jeep or the big, heavy, blue oval bad boy out of Spalding, Nebraska. All that drama on the starting line. Kerher red lights. Lombazio did not run the time he was hoping for, a 3:45. Now, I don't know if he saw the red light and just backed out of it to save the truck, but if that was an honest time, if Kerher had gotten a good jump and not jumped early, he might have been able to run Lombazio down on that. John Dotson now rolling out in the dark horse with, I believe, Brendan Kinsella, who runs in the open class, helping him there on the starting line. He'll stage alongside Dawson Boyce out of Illinois in the Wild Child, the 88 F-150. Stock 88 F-150, 600 cubic inch Ford engine. John Dotson with the cubic inches unknown in the front of the black Bronco out of Ripley, West Virginia. Big problem off the line, picks up the front end and takes off to the left. Runs a 5.98, so he'll get points for the round. A 3.52 with a 4 for Boyce. He'll head on into the semifinals, and Dotson will head back to the pits and put it on the trailer. One of the best looking machines in the class, but he will not make it out of the first round. Something going wrong with that machine as we take a look at the pairings coming up. David French will take on Cody Snodgrass. Snodgrass trying to jump into that number one spot. We know Daniel Kerher is officially out of the running for the points chase. Dawson Boyce will have a shot at our other machine that was tied for first coming into this, the Lombazio's All-in-One. We'll see if he can remain in that top spot or if Cody Snodgrass can get past. It'll be interesting to see if Lombazio can make it to the final round. That could be important for him. This semifinal round race Well, Dawson, boys, could be the most important race on Lambasio's season right now. It's definitely the most important race for that guy right there in the little S10 as he goes side by side with the biggest spoiler in the field at the moment, David French and Repercussion. Pair of boundary pushing super stocks right here as the S10 out of Iowa goes side by side with the Chevy powered Jeep out of West Virginia. David French, again, a record holder in the sport, as is Snodgrass. Who won that one? Snodgrass picking up the win, a 299 to a 305. And that was done. That was done on the top end of the track, let me tell you, because David French jumped him out of the hole, but just did not have enough on the top end to stay out in front of him. Needed just a little more gear, I think. And again, it looked like the wheelie may have hurt him on that thing. Really hooking up on the starting line, but it looks like he just doesn't have that little bit of extra on the other end. And don't think that's common for that Jeep. They're just starting to figure him out right now. Cody Snodgrass moving on to the final round. Who will he face, though? The likely competitor in the other lane is going to be a Jeep, but he has to get around the story here today. Dawson Boyce, who said he wouldn't make it out of round one, he's still in the bracket. And he's going to remain in the bracket. Lambasio red lights. Boys with a 355. So still not up in that quick range, but nothing to be ashamed of. Big old heavy 88 Ford F-150. Plenty of horsepower to play with, but doesn't quite have this thing geared to compete, I think, with the likes of some of the top in this class. Don't think, though, that's going to deter him from coming back and racing again next year. I think we're going to see a very different Wild Child in 2024, but right now he's on his way to the final round. Again, didn't think he was going to make it out of round one when I talked to him earlier. Well, he's here in the championship race. Survival is as much a part of the game as winning. You got to survive to get back on the track to try to win. Boys, what he can hope for now is for Snodgrass to red light, and I guarantee you that's what Lambasio's hoping for, because Lambasio's championship hopes may have just gone down the tubes with that run. Mathematically, I'm not sure if Snodgrass has enough to take the win just by being on the starting line, but he can make a legal pass in front of Dawson Boyce. He might be able to wrap up this championship. Let's see. No question right there. We knew that was going to be a lopsided run. Dawson Boyce, though, nothing to be ashamed of. 352, so he bettered his time from the last round. A 303 for Snodgrass, remaining on top. Remember, the record for the 200-foot track in this class is a 295. So Snodgrass running hard, will take the championship. The Seminole Paving points here in the Super Stock division will go to Cody Snodgrass, 20 points up on Gage Lambasio at the end of the season. Daniel Carrer bumped down to third place. You can see how close those points were at the top. David French remaining in fourth, and Garrett Williams hanging on in there in fifth at the end of a tough season with the Super Stock Eliminators. Our congratulations to Cody Snodgrass. Spectacular all season long. We're not done yet. The pros hit the track for the last time in 2023.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventure. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter.
Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo.
Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Fans from all walks of life coming out to the Upper Merrimack Dirt Drags in Cook Station, Missouri, just outside of Steelville. Getting ready now for the final session of the 2023 season in our Pro Stock division. Coming to the line now, the guy leading the field, Greg Booker, from right here in Cook Station, Missouri, alongside Colby Roberts in the Shocker. Again, just an awesome pair of machines right now, holding the number one spot, Booker with a 266 with a 9. Right behind him, however, sits Randy George, who is leading the points coming into today's action, 271 with a 2. So still anybody's ball game. We will see if Greg Booker can lock himself into that number one spot. He will then have to take his shot and sit and watch as everybody else takes theirs, see if he can hold on until the end of the day. .264 for Greg Booker, speeding things up. Again, right here at home. Remember, too, he is the 200-foot record holder in this class as of the last event staged out in Gore Springs, Mississippi. Comes here to home, not in the record-setting territory. This track has been giving these guys fits all weekend long. Plenty of bite, but they're having trouble finding the speed. But still, for this weekend, not a bad run. A little sachet, as Keith Mitchell likes to say, at the end of the track there, as Todd Hackney rolls out in Fireball, a little international scout out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, alongside Sam Lambazio. All in 2. Trying to remain at the top of the fleet right now as he is tied in a good position. We will see if he can do what he needs to do to knock down Greg Booker. He's got the horsepower. Does he have the vehicle tuned to the track? Can he outrun the 264? Todd Hackney, another one who's got a shot at it, sitting just outside the top of the points. He could feasibly step up and win this thing. There you see Lambazio get sideways off the starting line at 291 and a 280 for Hackney. Neither of those guys getting what they wanted out of this session. Nothing to be ashamed of, but as we watch it again from the end zone, keep your eye. Both of them moving around in their lanes. Hackney not as bad. He just kind of took the long way home, but you can see Lambazio went all the way to the left and had to back on the throttle. Very wisely kept it off the timing equipment and the cones at center track. As our final pair rolls out, it was the first pair we saw in this class today. Trevor Latham out of Parkview, Iowa, in the Hammer Time Chevrolet. Comes into stage. Again, 632 cubic inch big block Chevrolet, single carb alongside the John Conkle performance built 700 plus cubic inch George Farms Jeep. See, Randy George again led the points coming into this weekend. Can he hang on in there? He's got to get past Greg Booker. It is an absolute must at this point, shooting for a 264. Awesome run for George. Did he do it? No, a 270 with a 5. Not going to get around Booker, and I do believe we'll see the points. They do go to Booker after all the math is said and done. 465 at the top in the number one spot. Todd Hackney getting bumped up there after all the math is said and done. Randy George in the number 3 spot after leading coming into this event. Sam Lambazio hanging in the top 5 in the number 4 position, and Trevor Latham rounding out the elite in the class. What a year of action it's been in our Pro and Super Stock divisions. Congratulations to Greg Booker taking a championship in a brand new American Outlaw. And congratulations to Eric Bidlack for having another chassis in the number 1 spot in the division. Thanks for joining us. We're not done yet from here in Stillville. We will see you next time.